The bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
Hey kids, today we're gonna have a great show.
Corey, what are you doing?
What do you mean, Maddie?
I mean, why are you dressed in a giant rat costume and taunting a crowd of children you've strapped to the chairs behind us?
You're right. Who am I kidding? I can't run a wildly popular syndicated kids show. I was just trying to do something special. And in the end, I just pretended to be everything I'm not.
Before the cops show up and before you finish your after-school special speech, you think we can fit in a quick podcast?
Well, what do you think, kids?
Yay! Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Corey. And this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous, a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween.
You know, I think you should be a children's show host.
I actually considered something like that. Like, I was considering doing a YouTube channel for kids and just...
Aww.
There's money there. I'm lazy.
Well, yeah, and you have that experience with camps and all that.
Mm-hmm. Kids
Corey's
love
a
me.
teddy bear at heart, guys.
I'm like a giant cartoon.
Yeah. Ignore the tattoos and the fire breathing and the wild, dark past.
Well, that's all stuff that makes me a cartoon.
So, how do we even classify this? Just kids adult movies? Adult kids movies?
I don't know, it's been so long, I don't even remember why we did, it was my fault. You said Banana Splits, and I thought Deadly Friend would mix well. I think that my idea was hey, sort of robots. Yeah. I think that was the best I had. I think yours is better, kids movies for adults.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, we ended up with Deadly Friend and the Banana Splits movie.
Mm-hmm. BB. 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 BB.
BB. Me and Ryan actually watched both of these movies, and I've been, ever since we watched Deadly Friend, I just keep randomly going, BB. BB.
I'm trying to sing the end song. That was my whole setup. I had to listen to the end song again before we started this so I could be like, BB. 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 I'm still doing it wrong, but I don't care because it's dumb.
Honestly, the concept did inspire me, though, for a game for this episode.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Since the Banana Splits was so there, I was thinking, what if you turned other beloved children's shows into horror films? What would they be like?
Oh, that would be super easy.
Mm-hmm. Very easy.
Yeah.
Like the Jetsons, for instance. Rosie goes AWOL. Done. Or, Elroy's dog. What was his name?
Oh, yeah, like a Cujo kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Or Cujo and Evil Robot. Both going after the family from different sides of the house, Or
the Doodlebops, but they're secretly vampires.
Ooh, vampire Doodlebops. I'm into it.
That weird hair and face paint, plus, blood-covered fanged faces.
It's why they never age, yeah.
Are we playing now, or are we just talking about it?
I think we're just talking about it. Maybe we should play.
Okay, yeah, let's play.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you 3 kids shows, you give me 3, and the other person has to turn it into a horror film.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start with giving you... You know what? Let's go with something... I want to go with something classic, Well,
I'm old. You might have to.
Yeah, okay.
You'd probably be okay with anything up to and before 2010.
Okay, cool. Because you watched a lot of children's shows.
Yes.
And you probably still do.
Yes.
Okay. Busy Town.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay then. It's animals in a small, cute town, and then there's a worm who rides a car that's like an apple. But I'll give you a different one.
Okay.
How about...
Although I could do that one if I need to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Sesame Street?
Oh, God, Sesame Street's easy. Snuffleupagus is a figment of Big Bird's imagination, or so everybody thinks. But
you're not allowed to just pull out like, oh, wait, no, hold on, go on.
Yeah, I'm not changing anything. He's still that, but he's murdering various denizens of Sesame Street, like Mr. Hooper. They find him decapitated one day, but like he's in an elevator with blood on the inside of the doors when they close, so it could have been an accident, but Big Bird knows, and he's trying to warn people, but nobody's listening because these accidents to them are just accidents. But really, Snuffleupagus has had enough of everybody's shit.
Okay, so the twist at the end, like Big Bird was Snuffleupagus, and he's like in like leather and like heels and stuff, is he?
Oh yeah, like kind of like a Fight Club meets Anthony Hopkins serial killer.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So Big Bird has to do a tuck dance. What is Big Bird tuck?
That's a good question.
Yeah, probably something we should avoid.
Are you about a size 14?
Oh, God. It puts the lotion in the basket.
Do we even know what Big Bird sounds like anymore?
I have no idea what Big Bird sounds like. I think I was close, but I don't remember.
All right, give me one.
Big comfy couch.
Oh, the couch eats people.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah, and the clown girl is covering up his murders.
Or she animated the couch through dark magic.
Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah, but we don't find out about that until the end.
Sort of like Deathbed, the bed that eats. It's comfy couch, the couch that comfies.
Mm-hmm. Only way less sex because there's kids.
No, of course. We got it. You draw the line somewhere. This is America.
Right. Exactly. That seems like a good place to draw the line.
All right. Okay, I got a good one for you. Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock, that's easy. You just flip the script, and it's from the Dozer's point of view.
I like that.
So it's basically like Godzilla or King Kong or those newer ones.
Oh, I thought you were going for like a Stepford Wives thing where like the Dozers don't actually want to work their cares away. They just get brought into this little community and brainwashed or made into little robots that want to work their cares away.
No, the Dozers already live in a permanent state of apocalypse because the Fraggles come and eat all their buildings and stuff. So
so they think if they keep building, they can keep the Fraggles at bay.
No, they decide to build things to defeat the Fraggles, so they start making weapons.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna remove the episode where that one Fraggle tries to unionize the Dozers, and the Dozers aren't miserable that the Fraggles aren't eating their buildings anymore. And then we're gonna get rid of that little storyline.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, when she convinced the other Fraggles to stop eating all the buildings the Dozers made, they were very sad and they were gonna move because they didn't have jobs anymore. But
oh, so they were essentially part of an ecosystem then.
yeah, exactly. But I maybe have watched too many Fraggle Rock episodes.
No, I have too. It's weird that I forgot that. But yeah, like they make all these anti-Fraggle weapons, but they're still edible to the Fraggles, so that's
weapons
kind
of Fraggle destruction.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What's your
WMFD. Blue's Clues.
Oh, Blue's Clues? All right. Oh, it's dark film noir where each clue brings Blue closer to the Zodiac Killer.
Oh, that's much better than where I would have went with it. Well, no, actually, I can work mine in. Turns out that Steve is the Zodiac Killer.
Little paw prints on a woman's breast. Blue found a clue!
But yeah, it turns out Steve was the killer the whole time.
I just wrote a letter. I just wrote a letter.
I just wrote a letter. Figure out my cipher.
I like that.
Or I'll kill again.
That's probably the best one so far, actually.
It's just because they're songs. They've all been good.
Yeah. I'm trying to get away from the Muppet theme because clearly I've got Muppets on the brain right now. My last kids show for you is going to be...
I'll just sing the BB song while I'm waiting.
Yeah, okay.
BB. 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 BB.
Disney's more difficult to make dark than you'd think because it's already dark, so you make it darker, you're not really doing anything new.
BB.
Powerpuff Girls.
BB. Powerpuff Girls. So they find out that dude whose name I forget, that's like kind of their boss and created them.
Yeah. Professor Utonium.
Is that his name?
Yes.
That's like the dude they hang out with?
Their father, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so they find out he was actually creating them to be super soldiers to be sold to the highest bidder.
Okay.
And the whole reason Mojo Jojo was doing his thing was to kind of stop this. So he was actually more of a freedom fighter under the guise of a supervillain.
All right.
So this all culminates.
So is JoJo like played by Michael Ironside in this world?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I'd keep the cast because one of my friends does one of the voices of the girls.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, the new one.
Oh, okay.
Not the old one. Yeah, and it all culminates in this super violent, like, gore-filled fight in these labs, and all these faceless government employees just get torn to pieces.
So it's very like Scanners and like Firestarter and all that.
Yeah. I like the Scanners. I like everybody's head explodes. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, what's your final one for me, my friend?
My final one for you.
Final one for me.
The Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus. The kids do not want to go along for the field trip. In fact, she is not their teacher. She's a demented lady who has kidnapped them and is operating under the delusion that they're going on magical trips. But in fact, she's just taking them into the bowels of her Texas Chainsaw Massacre style home.
Oh God! So like Misery if she lived with Leatherface.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. Those poor cartoon children.
Arthur is obviously the first one to die, and she keeps talking to him as if she's scolding him.
As she's killing him?
No, he's already dead. She's scolding his dead body, and the other kids are just petrified.
Good.
We don't have issues, guys. Please don't press stop.
BB.
Don't unsubscribe.
Oh God, I'm just gonna sing the BB song whenever I feel like it. That's gonna be my thing tonight. BB. BB.
BB. Oh my God, the choices in that movie. Okay, Horror Pack, because it's hard to bite back my thoughts about that movie.
All right, Horror Pack. This is the December pack, so there's a lot of Krampus. Not a lot. All right, first up, I have no order to these because I don't know what any of these are, except for one. I'll say that for last. So first up, we've got the Horror Pack Limited Edition Blu-ray of A Cadaver Christmas. When I went to try to put this into my my movie organization app that I downloaded, I couldn't find an option for the Blu-ray, and I didn't want to fill in all that crap that you have to fill in to make a Blu-ray, so I just saved it as a DVD because I'm very lazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of metadata in that app. They could make it a little more functional for that.
Yeah. I feel like by next month, somebody will have done it for me who also gets horror packs, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, so Fangoria says, A Cadaver Christmas delivers dark holiday laughs. I think this is from like 2011, too. It's like not a new movie. Mm-hmm. When a dark force takes over the morgue during the Christmas holiday, a ragtag band of heroes has to save humanity from the growing army of walking dead. The cover's a bunch of, like, everyman dude, like, one's in flannel, one's in coveralls with a plunger, one's in a suit. Looks like they're fighting zombies. So,
okay.
There's that. I don't know. I wish I trusted Fangoria more.
Yeah, that's the old Fangoria before it shut down, so yeah, they were just taking anything at that point.
Right. But I'm still hurt by that. I'm still.
Oh, this whole explosion with Fangoria in the past year, the drama before they had to sell, it was really upsetting.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, basically the guy who bought out Fangoria and relaunched it said some horrible things and was incredibly sexist, and a lot of people just left the publication, left the company.
Wait, like the relaunch that's happening now? Like the one that's who's running what exists now?
No, they just sold it within the last year.
Oh, okay.
They renewed the new issues, and, like, pretty much the podcast I used to listen to, because of that whole dramatic explosion, it happened on Twitter, like, live, all at once. Shockwave's podcast, they pretty much disbanded.
Oh, wow.
Because the hosts had a disagreement about all of it. It was like kind of partially about the Me Too movement, and it was just a mess.
Damn. Yeah, stuff like that is weird. Because horror kind of goes like horror fans are either like the progressive end of the spectrum, like you and I, or like one step below Proud Boys conservative. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of middle ground.
And I think that side is the part that watches, like, Grindhouse-style things just because they enjoy seeing the bloody boobs.
That's exactly why I watch those, though. I guess the difference is I respect the woman around those boobs.
Yeah, you appreciate the revenge aspect.
Right. Yeah. I do. But yeah, it sucks that, like, and plus we're all fucking nerds, so of course, like...
Oh, yeah.
The fights happen. Yeah, it's a mess, and that sucks. I had no idea that happened to Fango.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's why I'm happy I'm a Rue Mord guy.
Year, so.
Next up is probably an absolutely terrible movie. It's called Mother Krampus.
Oh God.
The naughty list just got deadly.
I thought you were going to say naughtier. Deadly's a bit better, I guess.
Yeah. See, this isn't a porn subscription. Like, I don't get 4 surprise porn movies a month. I get 4 surprise horror movies a month.
That would be a pretty funny subscription, though.
It would be. Like, if porn wasn't, like, so... It would probably work, too, if porn wasn't so easy to get.
Especially if they didn't go by the stuff you were interested in. They just sent you, like, really random stuff. Like, the dirtiest and the softest, I guess.
Yeah. Like, on one hand, you get something like Cinemax late night softcore, and on the other hand, you get, like, the hardest of core gay sex ever.
Yeah, or just, like, a really obscure fetish one.
Ooh, yeah. That could be really funny.
Yeah. Hey guys, we just gave you a brilliant business opportunity. Don't credit us, but pay us for it.
Yeah, whoever does that, just give us money and it's all good.
Yeah, we don't want our names attached to this.
All right. So, based on the myth of Frau Perchta, a witch that comes on the 12 days of Christmas, taking children each night. So that sounds like I just started reading the summary and stopped real quick, but that's all that's there. It sounds like the beginning of a summary, and then they just don't say anything. All right, so this is based on some witch lady. It's done. It's in the never watch pile, probably, along with every other movie I own. All right, next is... There's no title on the front. But
that's weird.
Raven Banner Releasing presents whatever the hell they are.
Raven Banner? Wait, is releasing part of the name?
No, it's the only thing written there. And I just noticed it's actually in the art. This movie's called Z, but I don't think it's zombies. Bloody Disgusting called it goosebumps-inducing horror.
Bloody Disgusting can be a lot like old Fango with their movie reviews.
Oh yeah, it's got a good cast though. It's got the dude from Pontypool.
Not Lance Henriksen, I'm assuming.
No, but the guy who could be Lance Henriksen.
Ah.
In fact, I think you might be confusing. Was Lance Henriksen in Pontypool?
Yes.
He's not the main character, if that's what you're thinking.
Let's look that up real quick.
Okay, you're going to be embarrassed because he's not. I don't want to embarrass you.
No, you're right. Stephen McHattie. He kind of looks like him, though. I always thought
he definitely does. You're right.
I only watched it once, though, so...
And the girl who looks like Thora Birch, but I don't think she's actually Thora Birch, is in this. And I can't read full stop. I can't read. I've been faking it the whole time. Anyway, Z. When Beth's son breaks home... When Beth's son brings home an imaginary friend named Z, she becomes concerned that he is falling in too deep with...
He has a lack of creativity.
Yeah. Let me start this over one more time. When Beth's son brings home an imaginary friend named Z, she becomes concerned that he is falling too deep into a world of make-believe. He starts to display extremely destructive behavior, blaming Z for all of his actions. But after he gets kicked out of school, Beth is forced to find a solution. She medicates her son, making him unable to see his imaginary companion. But now Beth sees Z, and he wants to be her friend. Nah, I'll watch that one eventually just because I like the cast.
Yeah.
All right, last, but certainly not least, the next true story from the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, The Conjuring 2.
Oh. Yeah, it's always surprising when they send the big names in.
Yeah.
Horror pack.
I don't think I've seen The Conjuring 2, but like The Nun is a spin-off of The Conjuring, right?
There's a lot of spin-offs at this point, aren't there?
It looks like The Nun maybe premieres in The Conjuring 2 because I can see her on the back.
I am sadly, I have no idea about the chronology of that series. I haven't really watched them.
I don't either. I need to sit down and burn through all of them.
I'm sure I tried to get through one of them, and I was like, nah.
I dug on the first one. I mean, I get it confused with all those other, like The Conjuring, Sinister. There's one other one that I throw in there that I just get confused about. Annabelle, maybe, but I think Annabelle's in the Conjuring universe. It's all super confusing.
I know it's weird for some people, but I can't get into most clown or doll movies because I don't find either concept very scary. I don't find dolls and stuff scary if they're meant to be scary. You know what I mean? If my grandma had this collection of porcelain dolls and she had these shelves made that line the top of her wall all around her bedroom, and it was just I certainly
full.
Didn't have that when I was a teenager.
It was horrifying. I couldn't go into her room sometimes.
Oh, I loved my porcelain doll collection.
Ew.
They're pretty. They have pretty dresses and pretty eyes.
They're pretty horrifying. And they have dead eyes.
No, beautiful eyes.
They're eyes looking for a soul.
They are glass eyes
Violently.
with intricate designs.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
I owned porcelain dolls and I was not intimidated by them. I'm sorry if you're a big baby.
Well, then you were possessed by one and you're not actually Maddie. That's the only logical explanation for that. Do you want to read the back of this, or do we not need to because it's The Conjuring?
You don't need to.
All right, that's what I figured. So yeah, that's Horror Pack. At this point, I don't even need to make a judgment anymore. I'm obviously going to keep shelling out $25 a month just to get these so I can talk about them. It's totally worth it.
Yep, it's material.
Exactly. Oh, that brings me to my announcement. I almost forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I ordered the Loot Fright crate.
What?
I only did one. I didn't subscribe. Okay. The main reason I did it, other than for the show, was that you get this trucker hat, and you guys may not know, but I'm a big fan of trucker hats. I don't leave the bill flat like those douchey bro guys. I hate that flat brim trucker hat look. I do bend my brim so it's a normal trucker hat, just so you know. But I digress. The hat says something like "I break for cryptids," and it has sort of this Mothman kind of thing on it, so I basically got it just so I could buy the hat.
My late Christmas gift to you is that I'm not going to make a joke at your expense about you liking hats.
I appreciate that. So
Friends don't do that.
Apparently these ship out even months between the 1st and the 10th, so sometime in February I think I'll have it. Yeah.
You know who doesn't wear a hat? Robots.
No, a robot wears a hat in the Halloween scene in this.
Well,
if you enjoy,
there. Don't ruin
really
my poor segue.
And technically, the end.
Afraid.
That's kind of a hat.
Unknown.
It just happens to be made of a girl.
If you found a friend,
I think Wes Craven was an excellent trailer director.
Then we have a friend for you.
Hi.
Samantha.
Give me the police.
This is a good example of a movie where perverts who write reviews on it are like, yeah, she was in a crime.
Elm Street.
Oh yeah.
Wes Craven.
I do have, like, I did have a thought about that. I'm like, wow, Kristen Swanson is so beautiful. But, like, it wasn't a creepy thing, you know what I mean?
Hey, girl. She's killing people. Mom? Sam? Sam.
It's a great trailer.
You're so cute.
Deadly friend. She can't live without you.
God, you can totally see, like, everything he learned from making Nightmare on Elm Street he used in this movie, and it just unfortunately doesn't work. But there's a reason nothing in this movie works that I will briefly touch on after I'm towards the end of this.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that he just loves to throw dream sequences into movies, like always. There's always a dream sequence in a Wes Craven picture.
But these dream sequences were very Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah,
like the creepy dad and all that stuff. All right. Let's
just say that oftentimes, and I love, God rest his soul, Wes Craven was always one of my favorites, mostly for nostalgia. Why is it that he made so many choices and they were often the wrong choice?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's made a lot of my favorite stuff. Like, I like a number of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I dig Shocker a whole lot. Obviously Scream.
But there are still vast swaths of even the movies you enjoyed where you're like, well, that whole scene could have gone a better direction. Or that choice was certainly a choice. And it doesn't make sense.
Right. And I'm not sure that, like, and there's a lot of that in this. Like, it's all bad choices and stuff that didn't fall. But, I mean, there's a reason to it. I think there's a reason for it that I will touch upon in a bit.
Well, it's also weird because, you know, the final nightmare with his whole sequence being this great guide, I guess, you know, you can tell he understands the heroic cycle perfectly. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad filmmaker at all. I'm saying, and maybe that's it. Maybe, like, because he's willing to make all these choices and kind of do what he wants, like, it falls flat a lot, you know? I mean, that happens to anybody who's trying to blaze some kind of trail. So I definitely think, like, you know, I like the dude. I like a lot of his work, regardless.
I mean, I can appreciate it. At least he took risks.
Right. Yeah, Carpenter, too. I mean, he made a lot of crap. But he's also made a lot of the movies that I will never stop watching.
Oh, I never listened to a Carpenter song and thought, oh, God, that was lazy.
I think that if you might change your mind if you knew how easy some of that stuff is to create, to be honest. And it may have been harder back then. Like, I could churn out something.
Corey.
I don't have time for an actual challenge.
I am referring to the song in this movie.
Baby. God, people are going to be so annoyed listening to this if we keep doing that. But yeah, no, you're right. It was lazy. That's Wes Craven's fault. So this is a movie about a kid whose robot got murdered, so he puts it inside a dead girl. And I don't mean it the way it sounds. He put the robots.
This is Wes Craven's Frankenstein.
It is. I think I have a note where it's like half-assed Teenage Frankenstein or something.
That's a good movie title.
Yeah, the kid didn't put it in a dead girl because his robot died. He put his robot's brain in a dead girl. I want to be very clear on that. There is no necrophilia in this film.
The pseudoscience in this was really bad.
It was terrible. Like, this kid built, like, the most advanced artificial intelligence the world has ever seen to this day. If he created that thing right now, it would still be revolutionary. And he had it then. And we're supposed to believe that the military didn't immediately pay him millions of dollars and take him away to, like, Area 51 or something. Mm-hmm. Instead, some shotgun neighbor murders it. So,
well, and if you go with a certain sequence toward the end, I mean, that's even more advanced.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Being able to replicate himself inside of an organic. Yeah.
Yes.
So there are some I imagine before they moved to this new suburb so he could go to college, there were probably warning signs that BB wanted to just straight murder people, because the first thing we see is a dude. Granted, he's trying to break into their van. God, I love that van, by the way. That VW van is so badass. I wish I had one. Someday I'll have to tell you my best VW story. It's not good for now because it has nothing to do with anything, but it's a really good story. It involves boobs and pancakes, but I digress.
Pancakes. I'm intrigued.
So yeah, the robot already tries to murder this dude in the first 2 minutes of the film, and you've got to figure there's been like this is a dude that gets bullied.
Well, narratively, he explains it when he says, BB's been acting weird lately.
Yeah.
Throw a line there.
But I'm pretty sure that, no, I mean, it's an important line because it does sort of help with that he's sort of like his AI is evolving before anything ever happens. But I'm pretty sure the kid was probably getting bullied and he knew enough. He was sadistic enough to crush a bully's nuts. Mm-hmm. You don't just start there. He's probably slapped a girl at a park or something at some point. There were probably more warning signs. I also don't understand why BB speaks Jawa.
I was firmly convinced that Wes Craven was poking fun at Spielberg style, cutesiness with that.
Yeah, maybe. I definitely got it felt like Jawa to me. BB. So yeah, anyway, this kid builds a robot and then he moves to the suburbs because he gets to go to fancy college when he's 16 or something because he's so smart. And
partially teach the classes, I guess. Yeah,
I guess he was a teacher's assistant or something. I don't know. I just took that as it was a presentation on BB. But who knows, maybe.
Well, it's just, oh my God, when he explained anything in the classes and whenever you hear them taking notes on something, I'm like, this is nonsense.
It had to be nonsense because nothing had been invented yet. None of I was actually impressed that the processing chip actually looked like a processing chip. That looked like what I would have put in my computer. I mean, I'm sure at that point it had
They probably grabbed a processing chip for the prop.
Probably. So they move to the suburbs so he can go to this college and teach and do all that. And he makes some friends. One of the friends he makes, played by the beautiful Christy Swanson. We were talking about how creepy people are about her sometimes. She plays Samantha Pringle, the neighbor who has a terrible, gross, very Wes Craven, sweaty, abusive dad. Everybody is so sweaty in this movie.
Yeah. They are.
He makes another friend named Tom Slime Toomey. I don't remember him being referred to as Slime at all, but there you have it. It's in the credits, so it must be. And they go on some adventures. Let's cut to Halloween, where they go to the local crazy lady's house. Earlier, there was
break through her front gate later.
Right. Earlier, there was an incident with a basketball, and they knocked it over her fence. Well, BB threw it over her fence because he's a sadistic dick. I'm sure he did that on purpose. So they want to get some revenge. So Halloween, they go over there and try to break into her house, and she comes out with her shotgun and just levels BB. I keep wanting to call him BB-88, but that's Star Wars. She just puts 3 slugs into this poor robot, and it's actually the only part in this movie that makes me feel anything. I'm very sad that this robot is getting destroyed. I feel Paul, the main character's pain when he's screaming about it. Everything just works here.
However, I think she was perfectly within her right. She locked her gate for a reason. They shouldn't have broken in.
Oh, libertarians. You're mostly right, but all right, I've got an example from my childhood. There was this lady that lived down the street. We called her Crazy Mary because kids are dicks. And she was a crazy woman named Mary. If we even walked on her sidewalk outside of her house, she'd like come to her window or come outside and start screaming at us, right? To like get out of her yard. And we'd be like, look, we're on the sidewalk. We're allowed. And this happened like daily for years, it seems like. It's probably really months. Until one day I got sick of it and she just kept screaming at me. She's like, get out of here. I'm going to call the cops. I'm like, lady, look, do it. Call the cops. We're going to deal with this right now. She called the cops. Obviously I was a kid, so this is before I was who I was, so I wasn't nearly as paranoid about cops. So I just sit out on the sidewalk, wait for the cops to get here. The cops get there, and they're like, Mary, it's a sidewalk. Just let them walk down the sidewalk. And kid, leave the lady alone. So it sort of backfired on me. I got yelled at, but like, I am a defender of sidewalks, and I always will be. Oh. So my point is, if Mary came out with a shotgun and murdered my robot, that wouldn't be okay.
Well, again, why did you bring your robot into her front yard? And clearly, BB is a deadly weapon.
Oh, clearly. I'm surprised he didn't shoot lasers at one point. That's the other thing I don't understand about the Halloween scene. Like, they're out causing all this havoc. Obviously, there's only one kid in the neighborhood with a robot. So, like, everything they did, they're definitely caught for, because it was that kid with the robot officer. I'm like, oh, yeah, the kid who just moved here with the robot. We're going to go deal with him. So, yeah, but the whole thing is because of this basketball. And I get it. If I was a kid and that was my only basketball, like, I would want it back too. And if she didn't give it back, I would want revenge. So I totally agree. It's just there are two dumb things they did here. They should have just ran straight back out instead of running off to the side. But if they don't run to the side, like, the movie has to come up with something.
Yeah, they were closer to the exit than the side of the house.
But if they don't do it that way, the movie has to think of another way to advance the plot, and working on movies is hard. All right, so BB's dead. We never see BB again. But we go to... This is another thing I didn't understand. I had a note in my notes about like how every food they ate seemed to be Thanksgiving related, but I'm pretty sure that's because this movie like takes place over a bigger period of time than it feels like it does. You know what I mean? It feels like it only takes place over like a week or two. But I think like we see Halloween, and then I actually think the Thanksgiving themed dinner is actually a Thanksgiving dinner. But later on they eat pumpkin pie. So I'm not sure, maybe the mom just really likes Thanksgiving food.
Maybe. I don't know. I do think because you see them doing homework so much together that it is meant to show a passage of time. Yeah.
I don't really think they show it that well, though.
Because she becomes very comfortable with him pretty quickly, so.
Yeah. And this is another reason I have trouble caring about any of these characters, because the Banana Split sort of does the same thing. I don't know enough about any of these characters to give a shit about them, so I don't.
Oh, I needed more Thad.
Right. But yeah, so we see this Thanksgiving dinner, and I think it's right after that Samantha goes home and gets shoved or kicked, I can't remember, down the stairs pushed down the stairs by her dad, and she just straight up dies. And this, of course, affects Paul because he's totally in teenage love with this girl.
Mm-hmm. And it affects his mom, because she could have done something.
Right. And
she knew this man was beating this child.
And it affects Tom, too, but he's a narc, so we don't care about Tom.
Yeah.
So she goes to the hospital.
You stole that body too, Tom.
Exactly. So she's brain dead. And they're talking about, this is another weird turn of events in this movie. They're talking about unplugging her at 10 p.m. So Tom and Paul make a plan to go steal the body while she's still alive, even to the point where he like puts this like laundry basket near where they're breaking in so he can stick BB's batteries in there so they can power her life support as they try to steal her. Because the plan was to steal her still living body and put BB's chip into her brain then. But they move up the unplugging to 9 p.m. And he finds out about this at 8:30, so they're out of time. They got to run and do it. So he drugs his mother. In fact, not only does he drug his mother, he nearly murders his mother because he gave her way too much of whatever this strange white powder was. My guess is fentanyl, because
I kind of wish that they had said screw it and actually killed her with that, because I think it would have made more of an interesting, darker turn.
Yeah, I think so too. I might even have a note about that. Let me check for a second. I have a note about something like that.
I mean, it would have been interesting because when we kind of thought she was dead, I was like, oh, hold on a minute. But then she woke up.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have a note here that says, that'd be funny if he killed his mom. Like, he just walked in. It was like that Buffy episode. Mom?
Yeah.
Mom? Mommy?
Wow, what a twist. And it would have tied them into a much darker little conspiracy between each other. They both could have gone, like, completely insane with that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I wish they'd done that.
I do, too. So, yeah, they drug the mom. They break into the hospital. They go to get her body. But it turns out her asshole father decides at, like, 8:56 to pull the plug right then. So by the time Paul gets up there, she's already unplugged and dead and laying there. But with any Frankenstein ripoff, he's obsessed, so he takes the body anyways, shoves that chip in there, and she wakes up wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't actually know if she wakes up wrong. Like, I'm wondering here, I have a note about, no, we'll get to that in a second. So she wakes up wrong, and first she kills her dad. Fine, dude was a dick, he deserved it. They even hinted at, like, there's a dream sequence, like in all Wes Craven movies, that strongly suggests that her dad is sexually abusing her as well. Mm-hmm. And that dream's really gross, and everybody's super sweaty, and I hate it. Yeah. So I don't care that, like, she shoved this dude's head in there like a basement coal stove. What I do care is that it's 1986 and they're still using a coal stove to heat their house.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, he's poor because he's an angry rapist dad, and they always have to be poor.
Yeah, but
even if she is dressed like a preppy. How's he affording those clothes?
I don't know. Maybe coal burning stoves were a little more around in the 80s than I think they are. I don't know.
Well, maybe it was a really old house?
Maybe, but, like, I mean, you know how utilities companies are. They're super, like, monopolizing and predatory. Like, you use the utilities, you must have gas heat, you must have electric heat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't care if they did that.
I think a really chill Wes would look at us both right now and say, guys, it's just a movie. Oh,
I'm sure. And he'd say it in such a nice way that I'd hug him and agree.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm sorry, Wes. He'd be like, it's okay.
Yeah. It's all right, children. I assume he'd call us children because he's very...
Oh, yeah. Never mind that this is the man who made Last House on the Left.
Oh, God. Oh, I hate it when you bring up that movie. Oh, I will never watch that movie again. Twice was enough. Twice was an accident.
Twice this year was too many.
3 times yesterday. That's it. All right, so she murders her dad. I don't care because her dad's a lech. She ends up murdering the shotgun neighbor, who's played by that lady who plays what's-her-name in The Goonies, which is great.
She's also in Scrooged and Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, yeah, she is the mama, in fact. Mm-hmm. So her death in this movie is the reason... Anybody listening, if you know this movie, you know it because of this scene. She gets her head exploded by the basketball they lost earlier.
Loved it. This was a choice I appreciate.
Oh, yeah, me too. Probably wasn't in the original cut, but we'll talk about that in a second. I am a big fan of... Well, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of this. I kind of hate this, but, like, if there's one little piece of a movie that is amazing and above and beyond, I will really like that movie because of that. And that's why I still like Deadly Friend, even though it's a terrible and flawed and just poorly done movie. Mm-hmm. It's got that
could have been a cult classic.
Yeah, and it sort of a little bit was, but again, I would more say that the basketball scene is the cult classic. You know what I mean? Like that scene is the cult classic. The movie itself is really not. And if you guys haven't seen it, you can find it with like a quick YouTube search. It's totally worth watching because it's like Scanners level head exploding. It's amazing. So yeah, she blows up some heads. And the whole time Tom is dealing with his guilt and Paul is like obsessively trying to hide her.
And every time he runs into her, he treats her like he treated BB. It's not like he's even like has a moment to really tell her how much he's glad that she's back. It's more like, get out of the way, hide.
Right. And he kind of talks to her like she's still a robot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Sam, come, that kind of thing. It's not great.
Might be why it took her so long to come back to herself.
Could be. Well, I have another theory about that we'll get to in a minute. They also, like, they could have avoided a lot of this just by, like you said, like, pulling a shotgun, like, well, I don't think you said this, but that is probably illegal, pulling a shotgun on 16-year-olds. Right? Had they just told the cops, they may have, like, solved that a little better.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a new note here that says maybe if you've already kind of built a murder bot, you shouldn't do the Frankenstein thing, and if you do, you probably shouldn't use parts from your murder bot.
Well, yeah, but he's a smart kid, but he's not a smart kid.
No, he's a kid. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I love my notes. Gross. Dad's all sweaty and pervy. We've touched on that though. Oh, we did the Thanksgiving thing. Oh, yeah, that was another thing about her blowing up BB with a shotgun. Like, she's basically destroying the most advanced piece of technology ever. Like, I guarantee you, if Sam didn't kill her, the CIA would have eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that corpse theft was like barely a legal issue in the 80s? Because it seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, I would say that. And also, a lot of people hired like children's entertainers for their kids' birthday parties.
Yeah.
Just if you go by movie thing.
That's true. Screaming like banshees. Name that movie, Maddie.
Screaming like a banshee. I know.
Hold on, let me say it a little more like it was. Screaming like banshees.
No.
The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is you're dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Night of the Creeps. I gotcha.
Gotta have a lot of notes about.
Oh, screaming like banshees.
Ooh, that was so much better. There you go. The dad, he's also like he plays it like a sweaty Old West drunk, you know what I mean, with like his goofy facial expressions, especially when he's like bending down to pick up that like the bottle of whiskey that's obviously baiting Sam's trap. Like he makes like one of those stupid like, I'm a drunk prospector. Ooh,
Are you telling me he's whiskey. Not showing enough arousal towards his daughter?
No, he shows enough of that.
Okay. Yeah, his character was very
gross,
over the top. Yeah.
I haven't even gotten to the end of the movie yet. I just wanted to knock off some of my notes first.
I feel like his character could have been more interesting if it was just Robert Englund.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. In fact, honestly, casting-wise, I think he was picked because he had that slender look of Robert Englund.
Could be. He could have easily been Freddy before Freddy. You know what I mean? Like, the act.
There's no way you can convince me he wasn't touching his daughter if you watch part 6.
Oh, God, he was definitely, yeah. All right, so let me finish up summarizing the movie first. So we've got the basketball death, and that's literally the only thing that matters in this movie. All of a sudden, Tom starts screaming about snitching to the cops. So Tom and Paul get into a fight in the living room. Mom comes in and breaks it up. Tom storms off, but Sam the robot heard all this. She takes a leap through the window on the second floor, attacks Tom, throws the mom, and like runs off. Paul runs off to chase her, and then we see the bully again. Sam, again, lifts the bully up by his testicles, much like BB did and then throws him 30 feet into a cop car. He's dead. She takes off again. They end up cornering her in like a driveway or something, shooting her. Paul's screaming. Tom's not dead. Mom's not dead. Movie's pretty much over until I'm sorry.
We've got to talk about one weird choice.
Okay.
When she's BB, she makes her fingers into little clamp shapes.
Yeah, I had to think, like, what is up with that? Why would she hold her hands like that?
But when she's herself, she doesn't. And the moment of recognition before she became BB again and in slow motion started running towards the cops was a very dumb
Yeah, especially the way
as
she ran.
screamed, BB.
Mm-hmm. BB! I feel like a lot of this movie is just Christy Swanson trying really hard not to laugh. And you can kind of see that in the basement when she's killing her dad. Like, I feel like there's a little smirk there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have something about... Yeah, like you're saying, when BB's taking over, she does that dumb hand thing. So at the end of the movie, she actually starts talking again. Do you think that she's talking because... like there's actually a war in her head between her and BB, or do you think just her operating system finally updated? And that sounds like a dumb joke, but I'm kind of serious. Like, do you think, like, because it's sort of said that BB was a learning machine, and like, I don't know.
I thought it was because it was the first time he was appealing emotionally to her and tapping into that side of her.
Yeah, that could.
Because he never, like, appealed to her as a person. Like, he never spoke to her like she was who she was.
See, I hate that.
Until then, at the very end.
I feel like it would have made the movie a little bit better and a little more tragic had it just been, like, that Chip was, like, rebuilding. Like, he says it rebuilds pathways around the damage. So it finally built enough around the damage that she wasn't just functioning on lizard brain, but that she was starting to function as a person again, which to me says that eventually she probably could have gotten back to some semblance of normal had all this other stuff not happen. And if that was the case, this makes the movie it would have made the movie so much better had they gone that route.
But the movie wasn't trying to go deeper than its face, you know?
No.
It was a pretty shallow concept.
Well, I think that maybe if we would have gotten the movie that Craven wanted to make...
Mm-hmm. Much like with The Serpent in the Rainbow.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm going to come back to that for a second. I just want to get through all this other random stuff. Yeah, there are very little sex robot jokes, which I was glad about. In fact, I don't think there's any at all, which surprised me.
Well, she's a teenager.
Yeah, we've already said that there's a whole lot of Elm Street energy in this movie, especially in those dream sequences. And if you watch the trailer, you even see it there. Like, it feels very much like Wes Craven drawing on his hit movie from 1984, basically.
Yeah. Oh, and at some point, I think they say something about her being the girl of your dreams or something. Maybe it was a tagline? I don't remember.
I don't know. So, do you think that BB wanted to do this the whole time? Like, do you think that he was just a murder bot with the wrong kind of limbs, and once he finally got a more functional body, he finally got to live out his dreams of killing people?
I think so. I think BB was heading towards murder.
I think so, too.
Like, I think he was going to kill that old lady if she didn't have that shotgun.
Oh, yeah, I agree. We've already talked about the morgue, but I can't get over it. Is it really that easy to sneak into the morgue? I once tried to get to the hospital, like I was visiting, like, I forget.
Well, why wasn't he in jail?
Actually, yeah, that's a good question, too. I've actually done this a few times in pretty much every hospital I've ever been to. I've been able to, like, walk down to near where the morgue is, but that's as far as I can get, be it a locked door, a security guard, or a camera. Like, I can't actually sneak into morgues, and, like, everybody on TV can. Like, Herbert West sneak into any morgue he wants. This kid can sneak in any morgue. The kids in Night of the Creeps can sneak into any morgue they want. I can't. I want to sneak into morgues, too.
Security isn't what it used to be. It's a lot more advanced now, Corey.
Yeah, but why you gotta... Do you really need to guard bodies that much? Like, I just want to go to a creepy morgue so I can say I've been there. Like, nobody's stealing corpses anymore. It's 2021. Shit, it's 2021. I forgot. Happy New Year, guys. So the moral of this story is don't resurrect people from abusive homes.
Or, if you see a kid being abused by her father, maybe do something about it.
Yeah, maybe call, Child Protective Services or something.
And if your son is demonstrating, psychopathy, maybe deal with that, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the kid definitely, yeah. So, if this movie was all basketball-type deaths, if everybody had, crazy cool deaths, it would have been 10 times the movie that it is. But it was never meant to be this movie. Apparently, this movie is based on a novel called Friend, which is a similar idea. Kid's friend dies, he replaces her with robot parts. That's all I really know about it. I'm sure she probably kills somebody here or there and that, but it's more about the romance between Paul and Samantha rather than it is a slasher movie like what we got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that would be any better than what we have, but it's the movie that Craven wanted to make that the studio ruined. So that to me
that happened to a lot of directors of his time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially that early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's not early, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't know if this would have been a much better movie if that was the case. I'm not sure that anything could have salvaged this movie other than more basketball head explodings.
I think it was less forgettable than some of his work, but not as memorable as the really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a movie if I wanted to watch a Wes Craven movie, I'm trying to think of a reason I would pick this one.
And not a pervy reason?
Right, not a pervy reason. Let me check something real quick. All right, where are your director credits? There they are.
Honestly, just if you hadn't seen it, that would be the main choice.
Yeah, I'd probably watch it before I watched... I watch it before I watch Music of the Heart, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I'd still watch Invitation to Hell before I'd watch this.
I'd probably watch this before Shocker, because Shocker's really long.
Yeah, but Shocker's so good, though. I know that you don't like Shocker like I do, but I really like Shocker.
I'd watch this before Last House on the Left.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It was the first movie he ever did in 1972, and I would watch anything that he did before watching Last House on the Left again.
But it would be one of my last evil robot or robot people movies to watch.
Right,
because there's enough in the genre to...
I would probably watch the Banana Splits before I watch this again. Boom, segue.
Yeah, I guess it's a better segue than mine.
Killed it.
We'll never know because you ruined my segue earlier. I'm just going to owe to that. You see the screen all right?
Yep. You didn't even ask me last time.
I assumed you could.
Why didn't you assume it this time?
Because, Corey.
Fair enough.
Hey, sweetheart. We
are going to the Banana Splits.
Oh, what a dick.
Oh, God, yeah.
Sometimes at night, I see the Splits riding around in the little cars, laughing and singing.
Who's excited to see the Banana Splits?
Yeah! Another really good trailer.
Rebecca, I'm canceling the show.
What?
Hey, kids, put on your happiest faces because the Banana Split Show is about to begin.
Where are the children?
Mom, get out of here. Time's almost up. Why are you doing this to me?
Dad, please!
Let me out! Now the show can go on forever and ever and ever.
Come on, you fussy son of a...
I just really want your brother's birthday to be perfect.
We're gonna have so much fun.
Yes, we are.
Real quick, before I stop sharing screen, I'm going to have to use it real quick for an easy audio insert.
Oh, okay.
In an alternate reality, we discover the true horror of a children's show that just wouldn't die. In 1967, Hanna-Barbera birthed 4 deadly monsters that were successfully exterminated within 2 seasons. Just like Skynet, however, there is always destined to be a world of death and... That song will haunt me for the rest of the week. Oh my God. It was difficult to find a lot of info on this movie because newer films just don't tend to have a lot of people who've already obsessively written article after article after article.
Well, plus, I'm pretty sure that this was a throwaway film. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason they made this is, well, you're probably going to touch upon this, but I think this movie was like an afterthought, you know, and so I just don't think people really care about it.
Real quick, I'm going to post in the chat here. Could you quote the New York Times for me?
Yeah, which voice?
Whichever one you find appropriate. Read this in your mind first, and then summon your inner actor.
Okay, hold on. It never stays on the screen long enough. I just gotta... Oh, that's a difficult read. I'll do my best.
Yeah.
The new splits have split from the old splits, which may split splits fans. Because this time the splits aren't just side-splitting. They're splitting sides. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, New York Times. Thank you for that.
I don't know. Journalism's weird.
Yeah. I think he had way too much fun. Oh, I guess I should source the writer real quick. I think...
Yeah, because I'm sure he really wants his name mentioned.
Eric
that quote.
Eric Piepenberg had too much fun writing that intro sentence. I think he wrote that and he was like, nailed it.
I hope not. Like, I hope he was just like, oh, they're making me write about this dumb movie. I'm going to write dumb, cringy stuff.
Actually, overall, his article was pretty complimentary to the film. A lot of reviews were. It was surprising. It's got like a 60-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for a movie like this, I would expect something more along the 30 or 40% range at most from critics.
Well, all joking aside, like I was really excited when I found out. In fact, I think I gushed to you about it.
Like, we both talked about it. Like, it was something exciting and new, and it was like, wait a minute, no one's ever done something like this before. Taken an actual classic kids show and done like a dark film.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic, and No, I'll probably talk about this later, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely would have taken it in a different way had I been a part of its production, but we'll get to that.
One thing that they tried to do is what they loved about, and why they picked this specifically, is one reason is what they loved about picking the banana splits for this concept is that the 60s and 70s designs were just so stark and trendy and cool looking, that like that yellow, that black, that orange, all of it. And they brought that into some of the main characters' costumes. I just wish I'd seen, I guess, a little bit more of that. I wanted them to go further. I think they stopped short of really stylizing. Yeah,
this movie, I think
set and cast.
Every aspect of it can be taken further.
I think the lighting really fell short in the design. I think that's where they like kind of messed up. If the lighting had gone a little further, it could have really brought it all together more.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it didn't, right? I mean, this entire movie is not only filmed on sound stages, but you're allowed to see that it's filmed on sound stages because of what it's about. So you could easily just have any of those lights up and seen and on, and if people even noticed it, it would make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And another problem I had with this is that there were a lot of smile moments, like during like jokey bits in the script, but there were never really any laugh out loud moments, and that kind of bugged me because I wanted this script to be funnier. I wanted it to be wittier, you know?
Yeah, I think I can mention this now then. So that's a big problem I had with it. I think that this movie, like, sort of rode the... It kind of stayed in the middle of the road when it should have gone one way or the other. I think that if they would have made this just like a totally like not jokey, dark, depressing, gritty, weird movie, like sort of do like add something to the characters, make you feel something for them, get rid of the stupid divorce cheater side plot.
Yeah.
Make him relatable and just have this be this dark murder movie, kill some of the kids, I think it could have gone that way, or it would have worked better if they just upped the ridiculousness like tenfold.
They could have they had the seed of digging into the death of childhood innocence, which is silly to say it when you talk about it's the banana splits, but they could have really gone heavily in that direction with the main character because he was so sweet and innocent and cute. And they just didn't really dive into that.
No.
This did make Snorky my favorite character, though.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah. And a little off topic on the main subject, the director, Danishka Esterhazy, she's I believe a Canadian director. Not hugely experienced. Her filmography is kind of limited, mostly shorts, but when I was digging into reading up about her, I saw a synopsis for another movie that looks really interesting called Level 16. Have you heard about this? It's a 2018 sci-fi thriller about a group of girls who, I'm reading from Wikipedia at this point, who live at a school which educates them about how to be perfect young women for families that they are told will eventually adopt them. Then they discover that they're actually under captivity so that their faces can be harvested for rich people to look younger.
Oh, like a dark version of The Island. Or no, not The Island.
Yeah.
Is that movie with Ewan
McGregor?
McGregor?
Already pretty dark. Yeah, that's with clones, just in general, for their organs.
Yeah, that... Oh, I might have to try to find that.
Yeah, so it looks interesting, but, judging by the banana splits, I don't know if the concept is it would have been executed as expertly as the description makes it sound as a concept. I'd hope it was. But I don't know. It's hard to tell, because how much of this is the director, how much of it is the studio in this film?
Right, yeah, I don't know. This... Again, you're probably going to talk about this, but this was supposed to be a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, so I think that, everybody involved, once they lost the Five Nights at Freddy's name, they were probably kind of, reaching for something else. They got the rights to the banana split, and they just made it. I feel like this is one of those movies that they just kind of made because they had everything ready for it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a big thing that Five Nights at Freddy's fans push. And I know John Cawthon, who is, the helm of Five Nights at Freddy, tried to work with WB on a potential film and then went to Blumhouse, but I don't know if they just took a script of his and did it, or if they just, leaned into the concepts, because I can't find any direct quotes or anything that confirm or deny it.
Yeah, I feel like I read something at the beginning of all this when we first heard it was coming out, that it was originally penned as a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and whether that was some 20-year-old kid out of college or 24-year-old kid out of college shopping around a script, and who knows why it didn't end up being that. But as far as I know, they're still trying to make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That's still floating in the ether somewhere.
Oh yeah, Blumhouse is still planning on that, and there might very well be an NDA on this. You never know.
Yeah.
I do know that Blumhouse also not Blumhouse, WB announced they're also going to do an adult relaunch of the Flintstones on Primetime.
Really?
Yeah, and that is weird to me.
It's weird, but I'm totally going to watch it. I hope.
No, not me.
I really hope they do the Riverdale thing and make it super crazy. So there's a murder every episode and crazy stuff like that going on. People get people hiding bodies by feeding them to T-Rex garbage disposals and stuff. That would be amazing.
I think I would prefer if they just did a dark version of The Honeymooners.
That show's pretty dark already.
I just think the stylistic elements of The Honeymooners are more interesting as a dark story. It's more noirish, and I don't want to see a noir caveman.
That's the one about the husband beating his wife all the time, right?
Well, threatening to beat her and her telling him off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of forgettable characters in this, and a very small cast at the same time. One of my favorite characters, who's one of the most obnoxious characters, got killed off pretty quickly, and I was actually sad about that. He's this super fan who's grown up watching and obsessing over the banana splits, and like right when he proposes to his girlfriend after they've snuck off on a set, one of the characters catches him and puts him in a little like magic box and cuts him in half. I was really sad about that because he was freaking hilarious with his obsession with this dumb show.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, especially when you put it that way. It just drives me crazy anytime like we have to see YouTube culture like pushed into movies. Like, what's up, guys? We're live from the blah 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 magic shops. You know, I hate that so much.
His Instagram, but yeah,
it's whatever. I'm sorry.
I thought it was. I liked that his girlfriend went crazy and took the, like, costume of a prototype of another banana split at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was super cool. I kind of would like to see, I think a sequel based on that would be better than what we got. Plus, how cool would it have been if and again, this is like my dark, super serious version of this, if it was the little kid, if he's the one that drove off with the splits. I think that could have made for an interesting franchise.
With, like, Snorky in the passenger
seat.
A bunch of people go to a movie studio, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style, because they've got tickets, and the banana split robots go crazy. They're not people in costumes. I just realized I didn't actually touch it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, shit, we didn't even get to that yet.
Yeah, we just kind of like went off on little bits about it. It's not a very complex plot. The main character is very Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Charlie character. He loves the banana splits. He's obsessed with it. He's maybe a little too old to love it. And a friend but not friend his mom invites with him who doesn't like the banana splits becomes his friend because no one else will go with him. And his dad's a dick and is cheating on his mom. And his mom becomes the final girl style hero.
Yeah, she was great. She really played all that really well, like from meek to badass. That was cool. And that line the older son had where he said something like, "You used to be fearless." You know, I thought that was really well done. Like her arc, actually, thinking back on it now, is pretty good.
I did love that the brother wasn't a jerk. That the brother actually did care for his little brother pretty much like throughout the whole storyline. Didn't like... He was nice to him. He gave him a cool birthday gift. He, like, made sure, you know, his brother got to see behind the scenes because his dad was such a jerk.
He gave him a very dangerous birthday gift, Maddie.
Oh, my God, like, yeah. I was just thinking to myself, man, it must be antique, those old toys,
yeah,
you know?
That thing was brutal.
But it saved their lives.
Spring-loaded lawn darts. Let me read my note for that, because I think I put it in a funny way.
So maybe you'll use it on your dad someday.
Here it is. That kid's wizard staff was unsafe. That's my line for that.
Oh, God.
Trying to edit out my blue language for you.
This movie got a lot gorier than I expected it to. And a lot of characters I didn't think were going to die were just outright, like, butchered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was dark.
Like, nearly every adult in the movie died. Most of them off screen, but...
There wasn't enough humor with those kills for them to feel like they were earned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. That's what I'm saying. Like, it either needs to get more ridiculous or, like, a lot less ridiculous.
It's almost like there was compromise, and in the end, the vision wasn't very clear. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a one-time watch movie as a result. Not terrible, but I don't think I'd watch it again because they just didn't... It didn't stand out.
I think I've seen it 3 times now. Once for fun. Once because there was a scene. And it was the dude getting cut in half that I couldn't remember exactly that I wanted to go back and see. And then once was this time.
I believe a member of Fall Out Boy did the music for this, or the like reimaginings of the Banana Split song.
Yeah, listening to it, that wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. Which they did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, they did, but I think they should have used that song more. Like, I think they should have, like, they did it a little bit. Like, if you listen closely in parts, there's sort of like a twinkly version of it. You know, like ding, 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 ding. Like, that's the more emotional version. But I think that they should have kind of used that as like a Jason Voorhees theme song, maybe like pitched it down and like warped it a little bit.
Which actually brings me to another thing.
I'm sorry, which they did once, but
I think the Banana Split should have talked more because I loved when they talked.
I think so too. Like, I think they should have been able to quit more.
One of the best lines in the whole movie was "Banana Cadabra." I mean, but no, I didn't think they talked enough, and maybe because they were afraid if they talked too much, it would people would notice they didn't sound exactly like the original characters. Not that anyone who's probably watching this movie watched the whole show.
Right. I want to see if some of the other quotes. There was one that I really liked too, but I don't remember exactly what it is. So let me run through the quotes right quick and see if I can't find one.
I don't think we even when you saw them working in the studio, we didn't see enough of the Banana Splits performing. It focused on the drunk jerk who's the human in the show. In fact, the whole thing focused on just him dancing. I wanted to see the Banana Splits.
I did like the way they treated Stevie, though.
Oh, yeah, Stevie's a jerk.
Oh, I don't think the quote's here. One of them says something about... I don't remember. Never mind, I don't remember. I give up. So I'm glad...
I guess I like the ending.
Oh, I definitely like the ending. I love that Snorky fought... which one was it Fleagle?
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I just remember. It was really cool seeing those two fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd really, really, I said this already, this is my last note, but I've already said it, but I really want to see a sequel with the Owl Girl and all that rebuilt. Maybe she goes off searching for the kid and his family. I don't know. I just think a sequel with her would have been really cool.
Oh, I think a sequel would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, yeah. You just agree.
I'd want to see Thad come back.
Which one was Thad?
I liked Thad. He was the boyfriend who got cut in half.
Oh. Maybe he can come back. He could be an insanity hallucination.
Oh, that could work. Yeah, I'd like that. Would you like to tell people about Five Nights at Freddy's, by the way? Expand on that? Because I've never played those games.
Yeah, I could. I played the first one a little bit, and maybe a little bit of the second one. I don't remember. It was a sort of a point-and-click puzzle game. The idea was, you're basically trapped in Chuck E. Cheese as a night security guard, and you've got to watch the animatronics, and you're warned that they do weird things at night, and you've got to kind of watch the animatronics over the closed circuit television, over the security cameras. Mm-hmm. And the idea is to switch around. I don't remember the actual gameplay, but as you switch from camera to camera, they start getting closer and closer, and yeah, and you've got to stop them before they get you.
I like that idea.
Yeah, there's a whole big story about that guy didn't originally make horror games. He made this one game, I forget what it's called, but people were talking about how scary the characters were, so he just went all in and just made this horror game with characters that sort of look like characters from his old other game, and it took off. And became a huge mobile gaming juggernaut. And it was scary. I'd play it in my bedroom at night with my headphones on, and it freaked me out.
It's fun to find games like that.
Mm-hmm.
I usually can't get into games these days. So yeah, Banana Splits. I'd recommend watching it once, but be prepared for a lot of gore. There is a lot of gore.
Yeah.
Not Hostel level, but certainly more than you'd expect from a standard thriller.
Yeah, I wish there would have been more, but yeah, there is a decent amount. You see a dude's guts fall out of him and onto the floor. There's a couple decapitations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're afraid of giant puppets like I am, they're a little scary.
And it was a fun way to work around the idea of low-budget robots.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that. Because those are people in costumes, clearly, but they make them into robots instead, and that adds another fun level to it. It was creative.
They could have hidden the eye holes a little bit better, though, because you could see the slits in the noses and the screens that were meant to cover where they were seeing. That annoyed me a little bit, but I get it. Budget.
And that was the Banana Splits and Deadly Friend.
Yeah. I would also recommend Deadly Friend as like a one-time watch.
For me, both of these are, like one-time watch. Or like party movies. Deadly Friend more so because it's a little bit lighter.
I think that these would be good, like, if you smoke pot, these would be good movies to, like, get really baked with your friends. Obviously in a legal state, or if you have a medical card, and all your friends do too. But I think that these would be really fun movies to be super high and watch.
Do you want to tell everybody what our next episode concept is going to be?
Yeah, if I can articulate it properly. We're going to pick movies that are completely and totally
not
far away from what we normally do, like not horror related, not even necessarily be weird related. Yeah, so we're going to do something completely different just to sort of like energize ourselves, I think. So be prepared for that.
So what is your choice for me?
I think I'm going to go with Can't Hardly Wait, mostly because I just want to watch it and get nostalgic for my youth again.
I think I'm going to settle on UHF because I want an excuse to talk about Weird Al Yankovic.
I'm down.
Okay, so Can't Hardly Wait for me and UHF
no.
for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, who's talking about? You're talking about UHF, I'm talking about Can't Hardly Wait, or vice versa?
I think while it would be a fun concept for me to discuss your film, I think we'd both have more stories related to our films.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? So you'll do Can't Hardly Wait, and I'll do UHF.
Okay.
All right. If you want to check out our blog, you can find us at hallowholic.blogspot.com or hallowholic.wordpress.com.
If you'd like to find us in the cesspool that is Twitter, you can add us at Nowhere23 or search for Hallow-Holics.
And if you'd like to send us a lengthy love letter or a concept script for an evil children's television adaptation, you can email us at hallowholics@outlook.com.
Yeah, I am considering dating again, so love letters would be welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
Considering.
Preferably if you're creepy.
Yes.
Creepy,
Oh, yeah.
Old, and you have no
Yes,
home.
yeah. That's totally my type.
He's got
I do. There's a man menacingly dribbling a basketball behind me. Yeah, he would like me to tell you to go to podpedia.org and search our portal, HHA.
Well, that's all he's doing this week?
Yeah, he's tired.
Oh, okay.
He's had a rough Christmas and New Year's.
I don't want to alarm you, but all of the children you've tied to those bleachers or chairs behind us have escaped, and they are coming towards you, and I think they may be robot children.
That's okay. It's all part of the game.
Good night, guys.
That might be our best ending yet.